there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program, yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586-368, Equal Housing Lender.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. The government has officially shut down. Happened last night. Well, actually, it's only partially shut down. 70% of the government's still operating and running, but it's been shut down. And maybe this will mean DOGE is unleashed by Russ Vought and the folks over there at OMB. Trump warning that. And of course, Trump continued just to troll Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer, and the Democrats. Offered in their meeting yesterday before the shutdown, he offered Jeffries and Schumer, Trump did, a Trump 2028 hats. You know, the big red MAGA hats, they just say Trump 2028. And then, of course, he doubled down on his sombrero deep fake AI generated. By the way, ABC had to do that. They put AI generated because, you know, the 70 and 80-year-olds that watch him might go, Schumer actually said that? It's actually, I think we should be wary of not tricking our elders in this regard. There's so much to get to. Joining me on the phone, though, as we do kicking off every Wednesday, we have Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show, and he's editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. How you doing today, Jeff?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on, Joey.
Now, what do you make of the shutdown that we have now entered into?
It's like pro wrestling, but we know the outcome already. I think the problem is, and you brought it up on my show, that Chuck Schumer's scared of a challenge from AOC, so he's going left. And then Hakeem Jeffries, you know, kind of talking to Gary Palmer about it, he fears that his leadership post would be imperiled by cutting a deal with the Republicans. That's less important about what Jeffries has because, you know, the rules of the House are different than the Senate, but they're being held hostage by the left flank of the Democratic Party.
Now, who is driving the car? Is it that left flank at this point?
I would think so, or at least there's probably a perception that you've got to go this way about it. That look at is it the left flank, or is it just New York City Democratic politicians, the Democratic voters we're having to succumb to their will nationally, and that's a problem because it's such a different place politically than the rest of the country. But their problem is their leadership's all in New York City, and New York City isn't a reflection of the country, so it's not going to translate into in theory, a win for them. It's trying to take a game plan that you would use in a college setting and trying to apply it to the pros or something like that. It just seems sort of foolhardy.
Now, how long do you think this will actually last? Because if it lasts too long, I think it gets even worse for the Democrats. Though maybe they're betting on the idea of it'll get so bad it will turn back on Trump and Republicans. But how long do you think this might last?
I think at a minimum a few days, but because look, they do have to show some fight. They do have to show that they're going to take it to Donald Trump and that they're being good Democrats, good resistance members, but they're going to bleed support other places, and I think politics being addition and subtraction, that kind of game, that they're going to eventually have to come to that fork in the road and make a choice.
Yeah, and we'll keep watching it, and I got plenty of clips, folks, back and forth, and I have to say that it looks like President Trump is having way too much fun doing this. This stuff, I think, is easy compared to some of the foreign policy stuff he's been dealing with of late. Now, what do you make of, in terms of foreign policy, that big speech, not just by Trump, but in particular by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, saying we're tired of all these fat troops, including these fat generals in the Pentagon?
Yeah, and I think, if that was what this was just all about, it could have been done differently. But I think what was important here, Joey, was they had to show the American people. The Trump administration needed a message on this. They needed to show that, we ran on reforming the Pentagon. We ran it because it's just a weird bureaucracy with all the bells and whistles of any other government bureaucracy with its DEI programs and, waste, fraud, and abuse or whatever. And people were kind of wising up to it. And I think for that box to get checked from the campaign, it had to be done this way. The people needed to see it. They didn't just need lip service. They needed a show there.
Yeah, I was describing it yesterday as welcome to the new Department of War. And it's, I think, very smart. It's sort of, as Hegseth said, the broken windows policy of look good, hold yourself to a higher standard just on a personal basis. And then Trump's speech very much signaled, yeah, we're going to protect our own backyard. We're going to focus on the Western Hemisphere. We're going to focus on like a laser on certain threats. That essentially across the board was saying, we're really changing. And to your point, I like they did it publicly, because you could only imagine if this was a private meeting at Quantico with all those people, the spin and the leaks and how it would have been characterized.
Yeah, it's probably true that, a lot of things leak in that town, and there's a lot of politics. Pentagon plays politics.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very well, actually. You get on their bad side, and we saw this when Hegseth was initially sworn in. How the signal chats, and they leaked everything, and I feel like he's done a decent job at getting a handle on a lot of that and figuring out who the problem children are, and making the adjustments. But you're right. They would have politicized this in a way to try to take things out of context, leak, in some cases, just leak absolute falsehood. So, yeah, you're probably onto something there.
Yeah, and I like that, to your point about the Democrats, how they're all from New York and they don't know the rest of the country. I think we've had that with Pentagon leaders, not necessarily where they're from, but they're creatures, for better or for worse, of the Pentagon. And so I think in Hegseth, you have somebody that's actually outward facing to the general public and the people that actually voted for Trump. And in a way that's refreshing. I think this is the major signal to back this up is the recruitment numbers are through the roof, in particular, the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think they are, the out of touch part, it can't be dismissed that it's a weird place. So when I was in DC, we lived my wife and I lived basically across the street from the Pentagon. And it is, like I said, it became just like any other Washington D.C. Republican, I mean not Republican, but Washington D.C. government, agency, and the employees. There was sort of the government elitism. It's not what a lot of people probably perceive it to be at all. It's just might as well be the Department of Commerce or something like that. And I don't think that is like in the best interest of our national security at all.
Now, shifting gears to here locally, I guess just came out today. Alpha reveals their endorsements for the 2026 cycle. For folks who don't know, Farm Pack backed Steve Marshall, Wes Allen, Catherine Robertson, Caroline Dobson, Douglas Mayor Corey Hill for Commissioner of Agriculture, and looks like Derek Chin for Auditor. So are any of these, and there's a longer list, so y'all want to go look at the piece at 1819news.com. You surprised by any of these, Jeff?
Maybe slightly by the ag commissioner endorsement. I know that was in play. I'm also I'm not shocked that it probably was going to go this way, but we weren't sure about Attorney General with Catherine Robertson and Jay Mitchell. But on ag commissioner, and I think that matters, it kind of underscores this thing with the north part of the state. This is a guy running the mayor of Douglas. That's in Marshall County, North Alabama. And I think he just had the geographic loyalty of the 67, chapters of Alpha to win that. But they all gave speeches yesterday, and we kind of figured it was going to go Steve Marshall's way on the Senate. Lieutenant Governor, and I think Caroline Dobson probably had that locked up too. So Wes Allen and Caroline Dobson weren't big surprises, but the rest, I think we were kind of waiting to see which way that was going to go.
And you asked me about this on your show. Do you think Paul Feinbaum actually jumps into the Senate race?
Yeah, and I don't think it's a small thing here that he goes on with Clay Travis. Clay Travis, if you don't know, is he is probably one of the biggest critics of ESPN and the politics of ESPN. And he goes on essentially the enemy's podcast to criticize his current employer. But I don't think that's a small thing.
Right.
And for him to go on and then talk about running for Senate in that setting, in that forum, makes me think that it is very, very serious, that it is something that he's really Paul Feinbaum. I know they've polled it, and what I hear is his polling is very, very strong. Now you get into campaign, election, and there's ways to chip away at it. As you and I are talking about, he's on the radio 4 hours a day, and said some things about politics over the years that are probably going to come back to haunt him if he should run. But somebody comes knocking at your door, Joe, and they're like, "Hey, you could be a United States senator. You should really think about it." I think he does think about it, and I think that's why he went on Clay Travis's podcast of all places to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think he has the chops if he actually wanted to campaign and get out there. The chops, the following. I'm sure he could scrounge up the money, even though some big money just announced who they're backing in that race. So I always am generally like more the better. Some of the spoilers that jump in are a little annoying, but this one, I think he's actually a serious candidate here.
Well, I'll say this, and we're in this like sports celebrity sort of election cycle, whatever silly season you want to call it. AJ McCarron, Bruce Pearl, Paul Feinbaum, and to some degree, but you still got to go back to Tommy Tuberville. And I think these political consultants, Joey, has said like they look at the current likely Republican voter in a primary, and the establishment in the state sort of monopolized it. You have low turnout in primaries. You just do. And there's not the Mr. Smith goes to Washington candidate is not getting people excited about voting and getting them to, take 20 minutes or whatever it takes to go cast a ballot in a primary. They show up for the general election. They think that's when it counts, but it doesn't. It's a formality. The state's always going to vote Republican, and the person with the R next to their name is going to win. But that's the perception, and that's when their vote really matters. And, they watch Fox News. They know what's going on. But primary, that's small potatoes. Who has time to figure all that out? Who knows? Place 3 for the Court of Civil Appeals. I don't know what that even is. So they stay home. And I think these consultants look at it and say, we got to figure out a way to get. We can't rely on winning over these voters.
Right.
These voters they have certain patterns of behavior that's utterly predictable. We know how it's going to go. If we want to get W's, if we want to make this a sustainable business model for the future, how do we get different voters to come out and vote? How do we get people who typically would not vote in a Republican primary to show up? And you start looking at it, it's these celebrity candidates that seem to be the key here, and they poll them, and people respond to it. And people, I think, more than likely than not, who respond to it are actually going to show up to vote. And I think that's the phenomenon we're seeing unfold here.
Yeah, and I know folks were really working on Bruce Pearl, and if Feinbaum's serious, I don't mean this is in a controversial way, we might end up with our very first Jewish U.S. senator from the great state of Alabama. I don't think that's happened before.
No, but I mean, Pearl was certainly discussed as well. I don't think that part of it really matters as much maybe as it once had.
Right.
But you're right. It's not about that. The late Andrew Breitbart would always talk about how culture was politics was downstream from culture. And he said in this context that if you control the culture, the politics, what's coming out of the culture, I mean, you control the politics. Hollywood is left wing, and the left got really smart, and they sort of imposed their views on our entertainment, on our pop culture. Well, in Alabama, just take Alabama and use that same theory. What's the culture here? What's the pop culture? What's something that's sort of the common bond, the common thread? We know we're all Republican and conservative and attend church, but what's something else? And you can't help but think, well, they're looking at college athletics and they're trying to milk some politics out of that.
Yeah, and to your point, if you don't know who Paul Feinbaum is and you grew up in the state of Alabama, what's wrong with you, son? Like, you don't have to like him, but you better know who he is. And same thing with Tuberville. I think you're spot on with that, Jeff. But I got to let you go. If folks want to check out what you're up to, how can they do so?
You can find me on x.com/Jeff_Poor. Also, check out 1819 News, 1819news.com.
Appreciate it. Talk again soon.
Thanks again.
Folks, Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show, and again, editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. In the studio with me, we have Byron Sheehy. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. What's up, Joey?
No, life's all right.
Just all right?
Yeah, because, I mean, the shutdown's got me all excited. Like, really? We might actually have DOGE off the leash, baby.
I'm making a joke, but that's probably going to be a part of the 30% that got shut down. They don't want they don't want DOGE active.
I don't know about that. I don't know, because all sorts of signals were being sent as we were running up to this shutdown.
Well, they also kind of put them on a leash the first time, right? You think they're going
on
to
the first time? Now? Well, if you can blame it on the Democrats.
We'll see.
You're the one that walked into the backyard. I had the beware a dog sign.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that walked back there, and I told you, boy, he bit you. Yeah, that's what he was trained to do. So don't be tempting the beast.
We knew the dogs were back there. We know there's bodies buried back there. We were trying to go dig them up. No.
How about this? I want to read this. This is from about a week ago from Politico. The White House Budget Office is instructing federal agencies to prepare reduction in force plans for mass firings during a possible government shutdown, specifically targeting employees who work for programs that are not legally required to continue. Keep in mind, folks, the actual teeth of DOGE went through OMB. The Office of Management and Budget moved to permanently reduce the government workforce if there is a shutdown. It was outlined in a memo shared with Politico ahead of release to agencies tonight. Escalates the stakes of potential shutdown next week. In the memo, OMB told agencies to identify programs, projects, and activities where discretionary funding will lapse October the 1st and no alternative funding source is available. For those areas, OMB directed agencies to begin drafting plans that would go beyond standard furloughs, permanently eliminating jobs in programs not consistent with President Trump's priorities in the event of a shutdown. The move marks a significant break from how shutdowns have been handled in recent decades, when most furloughs were temporary and employees were brought back once Congress voted to reopen government and funding was restored. This time, OMB Director Russ Vought is using the threat of permanent job cuts as leverage. So, well, it didn't stop them. I think you got to do it. Now, here's the rub. To actually make a permanent firing, because we don't have the money, it has to be more than 60 days. I believe you have to give 60 days notice to any federal employee. So the notice, I'd imagine, was given like today, like right now, if not last night. And if this thing lasts more than 2 months, I think these people are fired. They're done. It's a permanent, it's not a temporary furlough.
I'm ignorant on this. Maybe you can tell me real quickly. In this shutdown, are all the veterans and the spouses of deceased veterans still going to get all their benefits during the shutdown?
Yes, I believe it. Like the priority list is like interest on the debt, Social Security, then disability, military payments. Yeah, so those are the main core functions.
So long as the veterans are receiving their payments, they can keep fighting this fight. The first time a veteran has to miss a payment.
And this is the thing, is also, and why it is kind of tough. But again, we're living in an era where we're 38, almost $40 trillion in debt. The deficit isn't getting any better. So there is more appetite to actually like, wait, if this is so necessary or unnecessary or essential or non-essential, why do we keep having the non-essential? Every time we shut this thing down, they're non-essential. We don't pay them for a few weeks and we come back and pay them again. If it's so non-essential, why do we even still have it?
All right, Charlie Brown.
Why do we even still have it?
I see how this is going to fall.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Jeff might be right that this will be more a few days and weeks, if that. But if the Democrats don't play ball quickly, and because I think this really is a fight, not between Democrats and Republicans, but within the Democratic Party. Actually, it's the Democrat Party. I apologize for adding the ick. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228.
Who do you think is driving the trend? Do you think it's Schumer? Because I don't buy the whole Jeffries is worried about AOC.
Schumer is the one.
I don't think he's worried about AOC.
Well, I think Jeffries and Schumer they're worried about AOC in general. Like not for their seat. Well, Schumer maybe for a seat, but more in the sense of if she becomes a senator or if she stays with it and getting senior in the House, she could be a challenge. Say she doesn't officially get the leadership position, she can still be a bit of a problem for them.
Honestly, I think the Democrats need to have that fight. I think the Democrats need to do some soul searching and see if they want to get more on a economic populist message like a lot of their pundits say they need to, or they're still going to be drugged to the left by all this woke BS, man.
I completely agree. Now, I want to bring you in on this. What do you think of Paul Feinbaum running for the United States Senate?
Automatic, it's instant credibility challenger. It's not rocket science. The man has outstanding name ID. The number one indicator of whether or not someone gets a vote, the person has to know who they're voting for.
You can just go, hey, Paul, and people know what you're talking about.
Feinbaum.
Yeah. Like it's so, and he's been entertainment, and he also has been the guy who, he's kind of above it all. The way I think approaches the show, he's above it all in a little way, but he still is connected with everyday folks. I mean, you kind of have to be above some of these callers, not our callers.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
I go back far enough that I can remember Tim James in question or arguably lost that Senate seat against, the governor's race against Bradley Byrne because of a comment he allegedly made about firing Saban. And Feinbaum ran with that for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you don't think that man can sway an election,
definitely can.
He definitely can.
Is he still syndicated all throughout the Southeast?
Oh, he's syndicated nationally
now through SEC now.
Well, ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, before he had that little thing on Clay Travis, and I don't know what the relationship's like now. He's on.
Oh, and from that interview, it's not good. Because if he's airing out all that dirty laundry publicly, it means he's up to something.
Well, last week he was on 3 hours a day. I don't know how many hours he's on this week.
Yeah, I don't know. At one point, he said he was very upset that they shut down an interview he was working to put together with Trump. ESPN shut it down. It was like, yeah. And I can't just interview who I want. Mm-hmm. This is the no-go zone. The president of the United States. What's wrong with y'all?
If he does it, I'm going to guess we see the Feinbaum network here pretty soon.
Yeah, well, if he runs for Senate, that's going to be that changes.
He's a game changer.
That seriously changes.
He's the outsider.
Entire field.
He's the outsider with instant credibility.
Right.
And I'm sorry he doesn't know anything about policy and procedure and all that. Most of these cats don't.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I'm shut up, nerd.
Tuberville did.
Right.
He seemed to work out okay.
The era of boomer nerddom is over.
Don't underestimate his relationship to Palmer either.
Feinbaum's relationship to Gary Palmer. They're close?
Goes back to old Birmingham.
Nice. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that might shake things up. It was already going to be competitive enough, in particular between Barry Moore and Steve Marshall for that U.S. Senate race. No offense to Jared Hudson, just calling it like I see it. But if you had Feinbaum, I have no clue. If you had me bet today, if he jumped in, I would probably bet on Feinbaum.
I'd be willing to bet a lot of your undecided voters. That number's probably dropped by 10 if he throws his hat in, like instantaneously, just off the name idea.
Yeah, it won't be as strong as Tuberville because Tuberville's been in politics and just the name has gotten even bigger in a political sense. But if he also has the right messaging, is willing to go and do the work, visit in person, press the flesh, actually shake hands, while also using the media assets he has, I think that's a tough guy to beat right there.
Oh, man. I mean, like, he literally has the plug and play infrastructure on day one. He's got an advantage. Also, he's got an advantage over the field.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he actually throws his hat into the ring. Apparently happening live right now is J.D. Vance speaking at the White House briefing amid the government shutdown. Just looking up and seeing that's what's happening live on my TV screen. Man, that guy is probably the best spokesman for the administration. And I'm including Trump. I mean, Trump is uniquely himself, and you're never going to be what Trump is able to put together as his skill stack. But in terms of like explaining long-term vision or getting into a granular argument or getting into like a sparring match where it's just kind of a pissing match, it's not a real argument. It's hard to beat Vance.
It depends on the subject matter. And
Sure.
but he's smart enough to defer to people that have more knowledge than him, defense, military, international stuff. He knows he's not as seasoned as he will be.
Well, we'll keep looking out to see what's the late breaking stuff coming on. I believe Anthony Daniels, who is the minority leader for the State House, for the Democrats in the State House, will be joining us at 1:00. Just kind of taking his temperature on where things are in the state and nationally, and just the direction of, in particular, the Democrats here in this state.
I'd be interested to hear his viewpoint.
Yeah, and just like, what's next? What's in the next session? What can we actually get done? Where do you want to? What fights do y'all want to pick? Because I'll just be blunt. I find the general approach, in particular the Senate, Alabama Senate, State Senate, Democrats, is boring. Y'all been doing this stupid filibuster fake fight crap for how long? It's just like, guys, come up with a new shtick at least. At least make it entertaining. It's because right now I think they weren't their welcome. I have a sense the next session will even be more restrictive.
It's like a Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. Come on, man. Anyway, look forward to seeing Anthony Daniels, State Rep Daniels. Vance was saying moderate Democrats are already cracking. Yeah, they know. All this stuff I just laid out, they know very well that the Trump administration's in a position of strength on this. They just are. In terms of a negotiation, like, y'all have no hand. Like, you can sit there and threaten me, but you literally don't even have a pair of twos.
I bet you they could flip 4 Dems on the Senate side.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, I think they needed 8 because Rand Paul was voting against it, because Rand Paul says we yet again another short-term CR.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Rand's serious. Rand's like, we have to deal with the debt thing. Like, it's very much in character for him. So they need 8 Democrats to jump over. I think Fetterman.
56. No, we got to get to 60.
60.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, Fetterman jumped over, and guess King, couple others jumped over, but they need a pretty good number to actually break that 60 vote threshold.
Yeah, that might be a bridge too far.
Yeah, Rand Paul's just not going to budge. He's like, we've been spending way too much money for 10 years. So like, he's happy with shutting
Somebody's
things
got
down.
to stand on principalities, man.
I agree. I completely agree. Anyway, let's go ahead and hit this break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services and their Pest Pro Ashley and that great team ready to help you out. And I believe right now, as we speak, they're at Pest Pro, Main Street in Millbrook. They are having their 5-year anniversary celebration.
Congrats.
True success story coming out of the pandemic because, 5 years ago, yeah, it's 2020. And actually, it started small with her and just a couple other folks, and it has grown into a booming, great local small business, and they get the job done well. They get it done so well there at Pest Pro Services. Especially as the seasons are shifting, you're going to start to notice changes of patterns with your bugs, with those insects, in particular the spiders, or God forbid, like the wood scorpions. Say you go out to like your wood pile to build a fire, and all of a sudden you got a scorpion right near your hand.
You don't want to go to the hospital with a kid on that, man.
No. What happened in your hand? Oh, I got stung by a scorpion.
Scorpion bit me.
Yeah, you don't want any of that. You need to stay on top of it year round. That's why I highly suggest getting on a monthly subscription program with Pest Pro Services. Very reasonable cost, and it allows you to control and budget for those costs year round. And it's something you need. You need pest control services. Why not go with Pest Pro Services? You can always learn more at ppsroofregion.com, or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, or just call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team happy 5-year anniversary, and that Joey and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Attention business owners. Did you know that about 90% of employees and customers are unhappy when they walk into a dirty building? Let Janny King, the king of clean, keep your business pristine. Janny King's local franchise owners can handle your cleaning needs with reliable, hands-on cleaning solutions that deliver more than just a clean space. Janny King comes with regional support, which ensures consistency and quality, allowing you to focus on all the other needs of your business. Go to JannyKingCleans.com.
Janny King, the king of clean.
Whether it's day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to Veoza.com. That's Veozah.com. Paid for by Stellus Pharma.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
Wet feet, melting popsicles, puppy prints. Summer is hard on floors, but Pergo Vinyl by Mohawk is kid-proof, pet-proof, and life-proof. And right now during the Pergo event at Prattville Carpet, you can get luxury vinyl, worry-free floors, plus up to $1,000 in rebates on qualifying Pergo products. So gorgeous new floors up to $1,000 back. And did I mention 12 months no interest? Get the details and shop Mohawk's Pergo event now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Can you hear the squeals and smell the corn dogs and funnel cakes? The 11 best days of fall are almost here. The Alabama National Fair. News Talk 93.1 WACV has your fair tickets. Listen for your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Alabama National Fair, coming to the Garrett Coliseum October 3rd through the 13th. It's the 11 best days of fall. The Alabama National Fair. From News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to October. New month, but the same old story. The drought is getting worse. Mostly sunny, warm again today with a high temperature in the upper 80s. We'll be in the mid-60s tonight, mainly clear skies. Then more sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and still dry. We'll generally be in the low to mid-80s daytime, but the night's a little cooler, down to about 60 by first thing Friday morning, and maybe some widely scattered showers perhaps on Sunday, but the rain chances even then will be small. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark, Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me. And you were just asking, is what I had pulled up on the screen, is that Big Balls? No, that is not Big Balls, though. We have an interview, Big Balls with Jesse Waters from a couple nights ago that we might get to. He describes his heroic action, running in and saving a young woman, getting his butt kicked for it. You remember that story?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, he literally saw a young woman being accosted on the street, and it was like 6-7 guys. He runs in, defends her. The girl does get away because of his actions, but he got beat to hell, man.
Good for him, man.
And no, it's literally like there's destiny in a name. Like everybody called him Big Balls, and it's like, oh, is Big Balls stealing my Social Security? Don't you steal my Medicare, Big Balls! Don't steal my Medicare!
He's got a name to live up to, man.
But then he goes and does something that is literally like brass Big Balls sort of level. Like, it's great. But no. The guy that I had on the screen, do you remember a show that was on IFC called The Whitest Kids You Know?
No.
You don't remember that show? It was a sketch comedy show.
I don't remember much of the IFC.
I think Canadian based.
No.
But they have an old satirical send-up of a political ad. Hadn't played it in a while. And given that we're going to start to get into the election cycle again, and I share this all with love, and I really do. Like, you do get to know a lot of these folks, and some of them I don't like. But generally, most of the folks running for office are earnest,
good guys,
good people. Yes,
and gals.
Yes. But there's an element, even with the earnest, good people, I've noticed they're put through the sieve or the ringer of, like, here's what you got to do to be unoffensive and get the most possible people. So I think this is a perfect send-up of the just cookie-cutter politician. Maybe the world's changed where you can now be like Trump, or even Feinbaum, who's probably said crazy crap on his airwaves. Well, it's just, I do a radio show. You know, why do you care so much?
You're in front of a camera and mic enough, you do it.
Right. So maybe times are changing, but this is still rings true to me.
Webb, and I'm running for Senate. I have a short cropped haircut, a pretty enough yet accessible looking wife, and a newborn baby that I've dressed in a suit to prove to you that I mean business. For the last 15 years, I've lived my life in such a bland, uncontroversial, and repressed manner that it's almost unnatural. Why? Because I've been preparing to be your representative since I was a child. Most well-adjusted, sane men would be hesitant to take a job where their decisions would so drastically affect the lives of so many. Not me. I possess a sort of sociopathic narcissism that makes me think that I should be in charge of everyone. But all of that needs to start here at home, in this beautiful state that I've grown to love since I moved here 18 months ago. Together, we can piggyback some of our state's legitimate needs onto my unquenchable lust for self-glorification. And that's a promise. Here's an unflattering picture of my opponent. Here's a quote of his taken out of context. Oh, and one more thing. I have a dog. I enlisted in the military for the minimum amount of time in a position that would never see combat. Why? Well, because it would help me be your senator. I don't make friends. I make acquaintances. All of my motives are ulterior. I'm self-involved to the point of psychosis. My soul is terrifying. And that's leadership. So this November, let's send Washington a message. And what is that message? Hey, me.
Clint Webb for Senate.
That's fine.
I'm Clint Webb, and I'm running for Senate.
Man, so good.
Only a couple of things wrong with the ad.
Yeah, no, it's actually a fairly well-produced political ad, but it just kind of hits the nail on the head. And as much as there are earnest people, it's like, at the end of the day, aren't y'all engaged in like a huge, like, self-promoting popularity contest?
Preferred out of 3 out of 5 voters, man.
Yeah, come on.
That's it.
Like, come on,
It's
man.
marketing.
It's like your toothpaste.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah,
you're being sold like toothpaste. But, you know, it's good to be reminded that you're not crazy. You're not the only one that occasionally goes, I don't think these people are.
Did I hear that somewhere else?
Yeah, authentic. Yeah, I don't think these are authentic fellas and ladies here. So,
didn't that guy say that 12 years ago when he ran the first time?
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out if you just don't feel yourself. Seriously, if you just feel run down and tired all the live long day, and it's not just physically exhausted, physically weak, it's also like mentally weak. Like you just can't think straight, can't sleep right. You're getting fat. You're never in the mood.
Sitting down to pee.
Yeah. And it's not even dark. So many men, as they start feeling bad, go, just me getting older. I don't need to go to the doctor. Well, no. Low energy and performance issues aren't inevitable. Solutions do exist there at Montgomery Men's Health. And they're not going to do guesswork or gimmicks, no generic fixes they just throw at you and hope work. No, they're going to sit down with you. The urologist providers at Montgomery Men's Health will tailor solutions specifically to your body and goals. Consultation, including blood work, is just $99 with results before you leave. Not only will you get a testosterone score, you also get a PSA test, great marker for prostate health without the invasive procedure.
That's good.
And, of course, again, a lot of guys will be like, hey, I don't need it. I'm fine. I'm a man. I'll just tough it out. No. Gentlemen, you only got one life. If you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you don't have to feel like crap. And if you're in your 20s or 30s, you definitely need to get by Montgomery Men's Health. If you feel like, an old man, that shouldn't be that way, young men. Y'all check them out today. You can always call them at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Got to hit a early break here, and we'll be hopefully right back with one of our great sponsors.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store. And have you tried the over-the-counter products for your foot pain and nothing seems to work? If that's you, it's time to check out the Good Feet Store. Stop the pain that's stopping you. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today, or just stop by the store nearest you.
Join WAKA for our Tickled Pink Out party benefiting the Cancer Wellness Foundation Saturday, October 4th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverwalk Stadium. There'll be something for everyone. Health information, shopping, a children's area, and giveaways all day long. We'll also reveal our Survivor Makeover winner. Get your tickets at WAKA.com. Sponsored by the Montgomery Cancer Center, the Montgomery Probate Office, Archwell Health, and Sons Kia of Montgomery.
Hello, I'm Johnny Sullivan from Sinclair's Restaurant. We're almost 27 years, and our business is as good as ever, and I give credit to Blue Water Broadcasting for keeping us on the air and letting people know what we do. Advertising with them has been a huge help to our business. I've seen a uptick from day one. If you need to grow your business, I highly recommend you give them a call.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Josh Bottoms with Sons Kia there on the Boulevard. Hey, Josh, how you doing today, sir?
Man, I am doing great. I am actually sitting outside on the lot enjoying this weather. And that just, I mean, it's just a great day to be here at Sons Kia in Montgomery.
Sounds like a perfect, like the changing of the seasons. Like you don't want to buy a car like when it's really hot and you're sweating through it. Like fall weather, it's perfect time to buy a vehicle.
Perfect. You know, it's also the perfect time to build a building, man. I'm watching these guys out here building the construction. And they're getting a lot of work done this week. We're pouring footers. We see some concrete going down. You know, it just goes along with the activity they got out there. It's the same activity we got on the lot. We got a lot of great things going on. New incentives are coming out today, but we're still carrying over from last month. I got $4,400 off of select Sorrentos. I've got a Kia Soul that you can actually lease for $249 a month. That's unheard of. We've got Seltoses, some leftover Seltos, 2025 Seltoses, up to $5,500 off on those. So it's just a great time to come see us on this side of the boulevard.
Yeah, and don't let the construction deter you. The construction sale continues. And then, of course, folks can also check you out online.
They can. They can visit us at www.sunskiamontgomery.com.
Well, appreciate it as always, Josh. Talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Again, that's Josh Bottoms with Sons Kia here in Montgomery, and really appreciate what they're doing. In fact, Josh was many moons ago when I bought my Kia. He was the manager over there, and he's still the guy over there. So I like that.
God knows his rides.
They treated me right, and I love that freaking car. Kia's got a great product. I know from firsthand experience. Now, if you're in a big city, hopefully they fix the whole like remote taking over of the thing. I think they have fixed that.
I'm sure the gas mileage more than ever makes up for it.
But I have a Kia. I freaking love that thing. It's been solid, still under 40,000 miles, but it is, I don't drive that much.
You need to get out more, man.
No, I don't think I do. I don't think I do.
It's safe at all.
Everybody keeps saying that, and I'm like, I don't know if I do.
Nothing bad ever happens at all.
Yeah. So just to give you a little more flavor of the shutdown politics going on, this happened, I think, last night. Where this shows how bad it is for Chuck Schumer. He's literally just being laughed at by the entire body of the Senate.
He's used to that by now, though, right?
By his fellow senators. Oh, I'm sure he's used to it. I'm saying his power is a joke. And when you're just your own colleagues on the Senate floor you're genuinely tickling them with your rhetoric, like trying to be, that's not a good sign of how powerful you are when people are making fun of you to your face. So such a moment happened last night before the shutdown. Let's listen in.
Now, I know the leader is going to show a poll that says that Democrats will be blamed for the shutdown. There are many more polls that show Republicans are blamed. The question in that poll is biased. Biased. In the New York Times, but it's biased. If you turn the... That's true. I don't always believe the New York Times. You can be sure of that. Neither do you. Okay.
He also just seems so halted, like even in supposedly friendly interviews. He's halted in his speech. He doesn't seem like a confident guy who's supposed to be the leader of his party in the United States Senate.
Yeah, when the caucus is laughing about the source that he's citing, maybe he's grasping a little bit.
It's biased.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Chuck, it's not asked in the right way. But of course, I was explaining to you off air. I was explaining it on Jeff Poor's show. I might as explaining them on air on my own show.
Should.
All this talk of like they're funding illegal aliens. That's the main thing that Trump and team are saying. They want to give health care to illegal aliens when we need that money for American citizens. And the Democrats come back and they're like, well, the law says that's already illegal and that's not happening. The Republicans come back and go, well, the changes we made in the big, beautiful bill about work requirements and no. And if you remove those, it is going to go to, because it's not, those are the teeth that allow enforcement of that law that bans illegals. And you get lost in this back and forth and all the rhetoric. And then what's Trump do? He just continues to hammer on the point. What is the point? They want to give health care to illegal aliens. Is Trump going to do it with a big policy discussion like Vance might do, or Mike Johnson might do, or John Thune and might do? No. What is he going to do? He puts a sombrero with mariachi music on Hakeem Jeffries and has Chuck Schumer saying fake things through AI. And of course, folks are getting mad that this is a deep fake. And it's like, wait, were you confused that Hakeem was wearing an actual sombrero?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But then here is, what's her name? Teresa Fernandez. She's a representative on the Democratic side of the aisle up there in the United States Congress. And Representative Teresa Fernandez, well, this reminds me of being in high school when the teacher's very, very upset and the rest of the student body thinks it's very, very funny.
That's right. And then what does that shameful man do?
What does he do?
After after a meeting where you're supposed to be working out details, where you're supposed to be negotiating a deal.
Preach.
You post something that draws a sombrero and a mustache on the leader with whom you're supposed to be.
You draw? Let me hear that again.
Something that draws a sombrero and a mustache on the leader.
Listen.
You drew a sombrero on the man you're supposed to be dealing with?
You know what I really hope they do to really irk the Democrats and get under their skin? I hope they take the clips of all the Democrats talking negatively about this image and package it and send it to Hispanic speaking residents and get them to understand that maybe Democrats don't embrace their culture the way that they claim to.
So they're very upset. Hakeem was very upset. And then Trump decided to just double down. And this is the point, folks. He doesn't have to engage in a policy argument. He has his particular idea he wants in your head. And then he says, I'm going to get it across, not with words, but with laughter and memes. And he's been doing this since the beginning. What do you think the whole "we're going to build the wall" was all about? Because the wall reduces down what could be a complex policy discussion about how you secure the border, yada, yada, to a simple image everybody can understand, whether you love it or hate it. And so Trump is genius at this stuff. And again, as they get mad at him doing this stuff, the trolling, it makes it even better. So here's Trump doubling down on this. It starts with Hakeem Jeffries complaining to Lawrence O'Donnell about how it's racist and bigoted or something.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
For folks just listening, what happens is 4 different Donald Trumps in sombreros as a mariachi band pop up, and then a sombrero and mustache fall back on Hakeem Jeffries. I get to see the reveal again.
And we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Yeah.
This is going back to last cycle. I was involved in a challenge against a long-term Democrat congressional member, out of state. And this issue was the one issue that we found where we could gain ground with African-American Democrats.
Really?
When they found out that Hispanic illegals were siphoning off resources from whether it's Medicaid, food assistance, whatever the benefits were, and they acknowledged that there's only a finite number of resources there. They saw that they were being impacted. That was an issue.
There you go. Yeah, but again, this isn't just like Trump trolling and it's funny. It gets what you just laid out across better than any sort of white paper or policy paper.
Right, but the reason the leadership on the Dems can't just let this go and just let Trump have a one-off fun and done, laugh at it, is because it's such a serious issue amongst their base.
And that's why they're so out of sorts.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah. How do you, the guy who's got the crowd laughing at you, and you try to back?
That's why I know it was gross, or it might seem hard to do about taking that message of the Democrats, like talking bad about the meme itself. But if they give you any content, even if it's just radio, like any content, you can turn around, package it, and use it against them. This is where Trump plays 4D chess better than anybody.
Yeah, and it is interesting too, where he is the second coming of Hitler. He's a fascist. He's a damn dirty racist, and he just went and proved it again. Well, how did he prove it? Oh, I'm telling you, he really proved it. Well, how did he prove it? Well, ma'am, Teresa, how did he prove it, Teresa?
Working out details where you're supposed to be negotiating a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You post something that draws a sombrero and a mustache.
What do you call those little maraca things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do that with her.
What did the mean fascist orange man do? He drew a sombrero on his opponent. Okay.
Keep it going. Anybody who jumps out, I'd make them a part of the meme.
Dynamic continues here. We got to hit the top of the hour break. Hopefully be right back with Austin Branco, and then we will have Anthony Daniels, who is the minority leader of the Democrats in the State House. We will be talking to him soon. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A vote to end the government shutdown has come up short. Democrats in the Senate held firm today to their party's demand that the GOP be willing to extend certain Obamacare subsidies and had been set to expire. And a vote to end the shutdown came up short today, with both sides blaming the other. The Supreme Court allowing Lisa Cook to remain as a Federal Reserve governor for now. The court is declining to act on the administration's effort to immediately remove her. In a brief unsigned order today, the High Court said it would hear arguments in January over the president's effort to force Cook off of the Fed board. AOL's dial-up internet has taken its last bow, the company confirming it was discontinuing its dial-up service as of yesterday. AOL, formerly America Online, introduced many households to the World Wide Web for the first time when it launched its dial-up service decades ago. This is SRN News.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For tough, good-looking roofs, it's Tamco Shingles from Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For great folks and great prices, call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to October. New month, but the same old story. The drought is getting worse. Mostly sunny, warm again today with a high temperature in the upper 80s. We'll be in the mid-60s tonight, mainly clear skies. Then more sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and still dry. We'll generally be in the low to mid-80s daytime, but the night's a little cooler, down to about 60 by first thing Friday morning, and maybe some widely scattered showers perhaps on Sunday, but the rain chances even then will be small. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Ready to borrow smarter this season? Apply online in minutes at yourasecu.com. Call 334-270-9011 or visit your local branch today.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASD.
Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. The city of Montgomery has announced a partnership with the Urban League. The nonprofit group's mission is to advance equity and inclusion by offering underserved communities with useful resources. Urban League services in Montgomery will include teaching workforce skills, violence prevention, and housing counseling. The Alabama Forestry Commission issued a statewide fire danger advisory on Tuesday. The AFC expects this fire danger risk to continue for the foreseeable future, especially in and around central Alabama. The Forestry Commission advises Alabamians to avoid outdoor burning and obtain a permit for prescribed burns until further notice. The Alabama National Fair opens later this week at the Garrett Coliseum Fairgrounds. The festivities begin with the annual Taste of the Fair on Thursday, as attendees will be able to sample as much food as they want from the many vendors. Tickets are just $30, with proceeds going to the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery's Charity Fund. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. What is a smart way to buy a house in today's market? Now is a good time to buy since we now have a more balanced market than we've had in years. Here are the steps. First step, Get pre-qualified with an experienced local lender. It costs you nothing to find out firsthand whether you can qualify for a home and how much that home loan will cost. Second step, hire a local realtor with lots of experience that can guide you, advise you, and be your advocate. We call those buyer agents. Third step, decide what your wants and needs have to be. Bedrooms, baths, floor plan, location, and school zones. Fourth, ask your realtor to line up homes that fit your price category and your location needs. Fifth, start actually looking inside these homes and see what is available and the cost of each property. For all of this information and step-by-step approach, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Byron Shee is still here. And joining us in the studio, we have State Representative Anthony Daniels. He is the House Minority Leader. How you doing today, sir? Good to see you.
Man, I'm doing pretty good, Joey. Good to see you too, buddy.
Yeah, and well, first off, I just kind of want to take your temperature on kind of where are things? They're kind of quiet right now here locally, but just how do you, when you look at the whole political landscape, general question, just how you feeling about it right now?
I think for me, I'm very discouraged that a group of very well exposed individuals that well educated, well exposed, well learned, and very smart people that are representing us at the federal level don't have the desire to work together. And that bothers me. Despite what people may think of Montgomery, and despite that we're certainly Democrats are in the super minority, there is room for us to work and negotiate with the other side to get some things done. There are things that we're going to disagree on, and you know I'm the first person to speak out against certain things that are not going right in my view. But that's healthy. But to get to a point to where we're impacting the lives of millions of Americans is just unconscionable to me. And not being able to reach some type of middle ground to where each side is able to get some of what they want, and let's move on to the next issue. And so this whole government shutdown is preposterous to me. To where we're not learning from our mistakes from the past. Every year you see the same fight to get everyone on the edge, get everyone angry and shooting at each other, not literally shooting at each other, but going back and forth in the debate. And it's just really crazy to me. And what I see going on in Washington, D.C. right now, having a trifecta, I don't think anyone should have a trifecta, to be honest with you. I think it's very dangerous. It doesn't really give room for negotiation. I think right now, when I look at the healthcare, the big, beautiful bill that's not so beautiful to me because of the cuts to the Affordable Care Act. And when I talk to individuals out there that are working in small businesses that also qualify in the marketplace, they're expecting a 93% increase if we don't restore the healthcare dollars in this budget cycle. And so I think that a lot of people see this as giving freebies to people. No, there are people that are on the marketplace that actually work. A lot of small businesses go to the marketplace. A lot of employees that are working 2 or 3 jobs go to the marketplace. And so there are a lot of people, and we didn't expand the state of Alabama, so you can't necessarily say in the state of Alabama, this is just a free-for-all for everyone, because it's not. It's a different dynamic. And they're putting skin in the game. They're paying. But their premiums are going, they're going to increase 90 to 93%. This bill also, the $1 trillion cuts in healthcare is going to impact our rural hospitals. 18% of uncompensated care. Right now, our rural hospitals on the verge of, on the brink of closure, a lot of them. And so I think that from a healthcare standpoint, I'm really concerned about the healthcare access for women and children. And so it just, those type of things bother me. And so, but we give $20 billion to Argentina, who are now, from a soybean standpoint, their exports have skyrocketed, and our farmers in the state of Alabama are struggling to make ends meet. So I'm just really outdone and very confused as to what's going on in America.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I look at you bring up, say, the Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act subsidies. I think that's a really silly thing to shut the government down over, though, because I'd imagine even I think the vice president has said this, like, we're happy to negotiate on the subsidies issue. I think their main pushback is on some of the changes in the big, beautiful bill about work requirements and other things. Essentially, in my read of it, putting teeth into the idea. It does say in federal law you can't give any of these funds to illegal aliens, but if you have no teeth in that law to enforce it and no ways to check that, well, then people end up getting it anyway.
Well, what is ICE for? I mean, we don't need ICE if we're going to use this bill as we're going to use that. It's already happening. People are being deported in record numbers. Right now, I don't see any illegal aliens getting free health care. I don't see that. I do not see that.
Don't think that happens at all.
I don't think that it happens frequently.
Okay.
I think that anything can happen at a but at a grand level, you will see record prosecutions if that happened.
But then again, why are we in a shutdown? Because I don't think it's necessary at this point. Like, I don't know who this helps, including, like, I get that you might have a really tough issue. You want to drive that as a wedge. A shutdown might be necessary. But it seems like this was something that could have been fixed. The narrow issue could have been fixed without the larger questions involved.
Well, sometimes when you're in a minority, you have to use the tool that you need in order to get the attention on the opposing side. And this is a part of this is the beauty of democracy, is being able to give and take. But when you're in a trifecta and you don't have the votes to pass everything you want, you've gotten too comfortable. And that's why a trifecta or any supermajority in my mind is dangerous. And that's not a supermajority there. I'm just speaking in general across the country, one way or the other. And so that's why I think it's dangerous, because the ideals of the broader community and the broader citizens don't necessarily get into the policy. It's almost like whatever my party say, that's what I want to do. No, and that's not right.
And I think we are in that era. You almost got me like a little mad because Javier Milei's my boy, man. Like, Javier Milei is the closest thing probably to my politics has ever seen any sort of political power. I love it. And the speculators and folks trying to destroy his economy because they don't like the direction he's taking it. I don't mind stabilization funds for the Argentinian government and its people. But more in general, you just made a point that I think is one I've echoed. And you can find who maybe Steve Bannon first said it, but the phrase is post-persuasion America.
And I think there is what Bannon means like that, what others have said is it isn't as much like I remember in the 90s growing up or early 2000s, like we're on a Sunday talk show and we're arguing the issues. It's become more, how do you mobilize and energize the already faithful? And with the vibe and the energy and the fun of energizing the already faithful, that's why you bring the independents and people on the fence along. It seems like we've moved into a different era where the icon, where Trump can post a stupid meme to get his points across and make people laugh at the same time, is much more powerful to me, that icon, than here's our paragraph or two about why healthcare policy should be this way or that.
Well, you gotta lower the hate for the cows to eat anyway. I mean, I think that oftentimes the person that reads something, they're looking at the phase, and I think that from a Democratic standpoint, we focus a lot more on the academics instead of talking to common people. And I think that our policies may impact common people, but we're not articulated in a way to where common people understand exactly what we're doing. Because if they have to read an essay or a novel to figure out what we're actually trying to do, and it's not simplified to say, hey, this is what we're trying to do, A, B, C, and D. And I think that sometimes we get so caught up in the academic aspect of it, of trying to over-explain. When you over-explain something, you're already losing.
I agree with you. And I was just telling Jeff Ford the other day, not that I'm trying to give anybody help, but I asked him, like, where are the smart Democrats focusing on things like healthcare and populist, like economic issues? Because when I look at the National Party, the message is more Trump bad, he's authoritarian, fascist, white supremacist, and he's instantiating the patriarchy. And it's all reaction to Trump. And how dare you put a sombrero through AI on the leader? And it's just like, guys, you're getting off the point. So, I mean, do you see that nationally, at least? Like, they are kind of getting caught up in this reacting to Trump?
I'll be honest with you, man. I pay very little attention to the national politics in general. I like to read my news. I don't really watch or listen to it.
Sure.
I actually read my news to try to decipher what's facts and what's not. And I try to use sources that's credible to verify some of the things that I'm reading. Because if I reacted to everything that someone says, or nationally or in the state of Alabama, I'm being reactionary. At some point, the parties are going to have to be more, strategically planning out 20 and 20-year intervals. And I think that this whole year-to-year shutdown piece should have been put to bed some time ago, where we had some type of long-term funding process or funding bill, and we should be focusing on innovation and figuring out how to be better than everyone else. Right now, I'm not so confident that we are where we need to be on a lot of areas that are going to be critical long-term, from an AI standpoint, from a development standpoint, even infrastructure, and looking at other ways to do things in a much more conservative manner, where we're not spending as much money to do certain things, that we're being creative and being inventors and creators. And I don't see a whole lot of that. And instead, we focus more on, and we got comfortable with being a winning team, to where everyone else this is like the NIL now, right? Everyone else has talent, right? Everyone else have talent. So we've given everyone else the same tools that we have. So the baseline is the same, but they're working extremely hard to be better than us, and we're staying stagnant. We got to elevate our game so that we can become the superpower that I know we could be. But at the same time, we got to get along within this country.
And I always focus on media structure. I was early to say Bobby Kennedy Jr. Because he very early, when he's running for the Democratic nomination in the last cycle, he said, I think this is the year where social media podcasts take over in the same way when my uncle gets elected, TV takes over from radio and newsprint. And I think that's just continuing. That's one of my main takeaways from 2024. And I had this moment this morning where I'm watching Speaker Mike Johnson argue with George Stephanopoulos. And again, it used to be that's all we had. Like, somebody would go on one of those shows, you'd have your 5 to 10 to maybe a 15-minute hit, and we're getting the message out, and you do that over and over again. Whereas, again, Trump and team are getting the message out by posting stupid AI memes. I set all this up to say, I think in the state of Alabama, traditional media actually still has a lot of sway, and that will change like everything else. Maybe we're a little behind. And I see a ripe opportunity for an opposition party against a supermajority to take advantage of, say, the new technology and the new messaging. So I am wondering what's happening with the Alabama Democrats, and especially these sorts of angles, these changes.
Well, I would say that there are pockets. The different thing about the Democratic Party, different between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, is that Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line, right? And so they're more structured in their approach. I do think that there are pockets of Democrats that are reinventing the wheel that's already been there for a long time, instead of kind of coming together and identifying a set of priorities that's reflective of what the people want and focusing on those particular issues, and set our individual issues to the side and just stay the course. And then just build the infrastructure from there, build the echo chamber, as if you will, of creating the news and staying on one accord. But instead you have 14, 15 different issues that's prioritized across the board, and none of the 14 or 15 issues become a priority to any group of people. And nor do they actually understand it, right? And so I think that for me, if I had it my way, we would focus on the working class people, that we will make certain that we're creating a pathway out of poverty and support for the poor, and really helping them. And I think education is one of the key areas to help, but making certain that they have the essential needs in their communities. I think that we've done a great job with broadband. I wish we would do more in that particular area, so that then you don't have certain communities where everyone is trying to move to, because they'll have the infrastructure within their own community to do it. I think that I would focus on tariffs. I would focus on rural Alabama and developing rural Alabama, so that people from California, New York, Louisiana, other places across the country that have engineering and all these different areas, because of the number of military bases that we have within the state of Alabama, and should be able to be a hotbed for defense contracting. Just really thought leaders, and I think that we are ripe for that as a state, and I think that we've been working toward that as a state. But I think that we need to expedite that, and we need to kind of ignore what goes on outside of Alabama and focus on Alabama, because oftentimes when we get so caught up in the national stuff, it does limit our ability to recruit those type of people to our state.
Now, again, folks, we're talking to Anthony Daniels. He's a state representative. He's the House Minority Leader there in the State House. On some of these issues upcoming, because, for instance, I recently wrote about the prison system and that big prison being built not far from here in Elmore County. And I kind of do see the necessity of it. Maybe it's a very expensive approach, but given the state of our other prisons, it's very awful. I see why this has been what Bentley was trying to get this done years ago. But are we doing enough is, I guess, my question on that particular issue, because all the stuff in the news, especially like the domestic crime issues, my main takeaway after all the sound and fury subsides is it is very practical. You need officers on the streets that can enforce law and just have a presence too. You need a judicial system that is, yes, merciful and wise when somebody just screwed up and they need to be punished, but not in a heavy-handed way. And then for folks who are committing severe crimes, they should not be let back out on the streets. Then how long does it take after somebody is arrested to actually go through a trial process? Then what are we doing with our probation system? What are we doing across the board? I worry that we're kind of dropping the ball across the board, and this leads to, especially in our major cities, issues across the board.
Here's what I would tell you. If you look at the crime per pupil in rural communities, you will see from a per pupil standpoint that is equal to or greater than an urban area. So let's look at Bullitt County, where I'm from. There's been significant shootings in Bullitt County alone over the course of the last couple of years, right? A lot of fatalities happening, a lot of in these smaller communities. And so I think that when we look at it, a town with that amount of people in it versus a town with several 100,000, right? When you look at the percentages, you'll see that crime is higher in some of the smaller communities as a percentage wise. But here, when we talk about crime, I do agree that there needs to be more coverage over into sentencing, from a person that commits a crime to the punishment. And I think that they'll begin to resonate and sink into the psyche of people that are seeing that, to see that, hey, I can't do this and get away with it, or I'm going to be gone for a very long time. So sometimes you have to make an example out of people. The other piece is on the front end, what we have to do from birth to pre-K and through the K-12 system, we have to have structure to where we're educating our kids on the front end before they get to school, and that it needs to be a universal strategy with a mixed delivery system. So you can work with churches, you can work with regular daycares, nonprofit, for-profit, it doesn't really matter. But there needs to be a community-based plan to provide healthcare access, quality healthcare access with a strong curriculum for kids early on. Then when you pick up in the K-12 system, when they get to the K-12 system, whether it's public or private, there needs to be strategies to make certain that they're being educated at the highest level. So that if we're teaching a kid in the first grade, right? Well, whatever they're learning in first grade, there needs to be some supplemental services that elevates them to be, when they go to second grade, they're already on a second grade level, midway through a second grade level in second grade. And then when they get to a midway level to the second grade, then we can do a midway level to teaching them above their weight class.
Yeah, that's
right.
What you're saying. Yeah.
So that then that way, the chances of them dropping out or not being able to finish high school has been reduced tremendously. I think we fix the communities around us. I think that in some communities, there are people that are out there. You're not going to change what people do on a day-to-day basis. But we got to put more positive role models in front of our children so that we're drowning out the things that they see within their community, because the child cannot choose the family they're born into. So therefore, we should not be just blaming the child, because the conditions around that child plays an important role in that child's development.
Sure.
And what he or she wants to become and what they idolize, they're going to look in their community. When they drive out of their community and they see people in different areas doing different things, that's what they see. They don't see you or I.
Right.
They don't see us in the day-to-day, in their day-to-day basis. And so we have to do everything that we can to elevate the rigor, the exposure, so that these kids will have a fighting chance, because you got to start with that generation. And you got to place an emphasis on the students that are in K through 12 right now. Start now, but you do a parallel approach from birth to pre-K all the way through 12th grade and through college. And then they need to be employable. Look at the jobs that are like, and nothing against people in art, but there's no way my child will go to school to major in art. I mean, there's just no way, because I don't see any. I see AI taking over that industry.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right. And I see AI taking over a number of industries. So my kids will focus on where our family business, right? In dentistry, you're going to need a dentist, right?
Sure.
You're going to need someone in healthcare. So focusing on areas that's going to make them a decent living in case something happened to mom and dad.
Yeah. No, and I see what you're saying. And I asked about crime, and now we're talking about education and healthcare.
Well,
I see your point.
It's a preventative side.
I see your point that I think environmental factors do play in. I'm much more in the camp of, I think crime at the end of the day is a failure of will. Like it is, you made a bad moral choice. And there are plenty of people, I'd imagine, in awful circumstances who probably deserve some help, who don't make those bad choices. So I would emphasize more you made an awful choice. Why did you make that awful choice? And you can get into it. I can have much empathy and sympathy for somebody like, who was your role model? Who was your support system? But there are people without good role models, support systems don't make these sorts of choices too.
But you also got to understand that if I'm teaching a child for 5 or 6 hours, but the internet is teaching them for 12 or 13 hours, how can I compete?
Yeah, you got a point.
And so
there,
we got to also look at what they're exposed to on their cell phone. And as parents, we let our children be on a tablet because they're not bothering us. So we're getting a break. We feel like we're getting a break, but really, you don't know what they're being exposed to on Roblox, on Minecraft, and all these different things where there are individuals soliciting children. They're doing all these different bad, terrible things, and we don't know it, right? Because we're not in tune to what's going on. And so I think that there are a lot of other factors and things that they're exposed to that's also part of their development that we're not paying attention to. And by the time we see what's going on, it's almost too late, right? The choice has been made.
Oh, yeah. No,
I have no empathy for murder, cold blood murder. I don't have any empathy for a person that does that.
Right. No, I hear what you mean. And I'll put it this way, and I've said this to other folks. I think a carrot stick approach is appropriate on the issues of crime. On education, like what you laid out from pre-K to 12th grade, I'd start worrying, like, are we throwing a bunch of money at the problem and we don't see the result? Like the structure of the institutions right now is not like we give them more money, but are we actually seeing the outcomes we want in that regard?
I think that there are a lot of factors to that. To be honest with you, I think that if a child, like when I was teaching third grade, I could tell you every child that went to pre-K in my classroom, based upon their readiness and their behavior. So in a school system, we have to take the children
a little closer to the mic.
In a school system, we have to take the children that are within that school zone, right? So you can't pick and choose the children that come to you. So you have to do everything that you can to really support them. I do think that there have been some important things from a Governor Ivey standpoint that I think, the Numeracy Act, the Literacy Act, those are accountability measures that I think are going to pay dividends long term. I think the dual enrollment is going to also help children get started in their careers earlier. It's going to save parents a lot of money from a collegiate standpoint. I think what the community college system is doing for the certification programs, in addition to associate degrees, I think that the workforce development councils around the state that are pulling industry together to do apprenticeships and all of those things, I think those things are going to pay huge dividends. But I think that those things are limited to certain communities. Those things are not necessarily within arm's reach to a child that's in a rural area that's not close to an interstate. So I think that we have to look at and think through, look at this thing holistically, and we got to think about the conditions that these individuals are in, and we got to give them exposure early on.
Oh, I got to hit a break, and we'll go to some calls, folks. 272-9228 if you have a comment or question for Anthony Daniels. But before I hit the break, like the conversation we've been having, 30 minutes now? Like how receptive are, say, your Republican colleagues or even some of your fellow Democrats? Like how free and flowing is, like, we got a bunch of ideas, or is it what we mentioned with the national scene, that it's more your tribe and you energize your tribe and I like you enough, but I gotta go. Like, what is the sort of relationship like at this point?
Well, I think that in previous years, the relationships have been awesome. There's nothing that indicate to me that the relationships are at the Washington D.C. level, and certainly hope that no one tries to bring the Washington D.C. approach to Montgomery, because otherwise we'll be D.C. Just to be honest with you. And look, I never get tired of talking. I never get tired of fighting. So, bring it on. And I'm ready for it. And, so, either you learn in Montgomery that Montgomery is not DC, and that you bring DC to Montgomery, we're going to send you back to DC, and it's not going to be an elected office.
Here. No, it just seems like I sometimes wonder the backroom conversations. I've had some myself. Like when I write something and piss somebody off, I'll get a call from certain people. Like, okay, I'm not in the room with you guys, whatever. Like I'm just a jackass on the radio. But I do wonder about like how receptive and how productive some of these conversations are at times.
I think with Governor Ivey, I'll be honest with you, and with the Senate leadership and the House leadership, we couldn't have, being in a super minority, you couldn't ask for better opportunities to have a seat at the table. That's why we've been able to get a lot done.
Okay.
And we some things we've been the first in, and some things that so I feel pretty good. Is the national climate going to change Montgomery? I'm not sure. If it does, then we'll be in the posture of the rest of the country.
Well, and yeah, I think we could talk about what you might expect in the upcoming session for 26, but I think after that session, as the elections get going, yeah, it might change some of the culture. I don't know. I have to say, as heated as conversations can get around politics, there is a sense, I hope, here in Alabama of like, yeah, we said a lot of crap, but like we can work together and actually solve a problem.
And we understand that, during the campaign season, we know that, hey, Joe, I want you to come back next time. And I know that you have to do certain things in order to do it. The polls are telling you got to say A, B, and C, and D. But without you in this role, having you in this role is more important to me than just, you making a few comments that the polling data is telling that you have to make in order to come back. Right. I want you back so that we can work on some policies that's going to really change the trajectory of the next generation.
And we actually have a relationship. Let's keep working on it. Well, got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Jenny King, the king of clean, delivers reliable, high-quality commercial cleaning services through a proven franchise model that empowers local business owners. Jenny King's franchise owners receive the training, support, and resources needed to succeed, while clients benefit from tailored cleaning solutions backed by a global brand. Jenny King ensures consistent results, trust, and success for everyone we serve. Go to JennyKingCleans.com and find out how we can help you. That's JennyKingCleans.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Here at Adams Drugs, we let our customers do the talking. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who was a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, what did you do for another pharmacy when you moved out of town?
When we moved to Fairhope, we were looking for a local. We did not want to go to a big box store. And we did find one, but the service was not up to par. Adams Drug really spoiled us.
What was it like to come back to Adams Drugs again?
It was very easy. We picked up the phone when we got back, came up to Prattville and called the branch there in Prattville, and they took that phone call and did the rest of it. We didn't have to do a thing. It was very simple. We're glad to be back with them. They're so efficient and customer service oriented.
Come in to any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hannah, did we just really open up our own real estate brokerage?
We sure did. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group is officially here.
So this isn't just another name in real estate?
Nope. It's still us, the same hardworking individuals. It's just us leveling up to give our clients the best service possible.
More experience, more energy, and more results.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, who you have on your sign matters. So give me, Hannah Grantham, a call at 334-368-6358.
Or Eddie Bader at 334-322-0662.
It's finally here. The 72nd Alabama National Fair, October 3rd through the 13th at Garrett Coliseum. Thrill to the rides that light up the Midway. Experience amazing shows like the Zerbini Circus, the Swifty Swine Racing Pigs, and the Puppet Dome Rockers. And don't forget the food. Funnel cakes, turkey legs, corn dogs, and all of your fair favorites. Opening weekend, the fair turns up the music. Saturday the 4th, it's Corey Kevin concert. Sunday the 5th. Skillet will rock the Coliseum stage with an energy you'll feel in your bones. Both shows start at 7 p.m. and are free with your fair admission. Presented by the Porch Creek Indians. Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing, Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
The Alabama National Fair. It's the best 11 days of fall.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Summer is ending, but the deals are hot at Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Just $29 service fee for all your AC and plumbing needs. Better call Clark today. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to October. New month, but the same old story. The drought is getting worse. Mostly sunny, warm again today with a high temperature in the upper 80s. We'll be in the mid-60s tonight, mainly clear skies. Then more sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and still dry. We'll generally be in the low to mid-80s daytime, but the night's a little cooler, down to about 60 by first thing Friday morning. And maybe some widely scattered showers perhaps on Sunday, but the rain chances even then will be small. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. This part of the program, we don't really talk to him at the top of the hour, but he was busy. Brought to you by Austin Branco and Invista Advisors and the whole team there at Invista. Austin runs the brokerage desk, but they have an entire team that can meet every aspect of financial planning, wealth planning. Maybe you're just starting a family, need things like life insurance. Maybe you're running a small business. You want help managing that. Consulting on managing that small business could be more end-of-life concerns as you retire, or you want to get your affairs in order. And of course, if you're looking for a great strategy in terms of investment stock portfolio, they can help you there. Again, that's Invista Advisors. You can always learn more going to InvistaAdvisors.com or just call them direct at 387-0094. And when you call them up at 387-0094, be sure to say, hey, that Joey fella on the radio sent you. Again, we have Anthony Daniels here in the studio with me, and we have a few phone calls if you're game to field a few of these. Sure. Let's go to Urbanite. Urbanite, how you doing?
Yeah, hey, Mr. Daniels, we know from just anecdotal evidence that West Alabama is dying. The percentage of people leaving the state or leaving the cities there have got them in the negative numbers. The rest of Alabama seems to be, I wouldn't say thriving, but be doing okay. Would you be opposed to refugee resettlement in West Alabama, in the trade areas or agriculture where we actually need people like that?
Well, that seemed to be more sort of a federal issue, but I think that for me, filling needs are extremely important because I don't want to see any business or any community fail or fall below where they need to be. And so I think for me, it's not necessarily just, and I'm not sure. I know that at one point, from a federal standpoint, in the previous administration, there was sort of a resettlement going on in certain areas, but I don't know that that's the case today.
Okay,
it looks like the focus is more on export. It is really just deportation than anything, and so I don't know that there is enough individuals that fit the same category that are currently still in the U.S. But I think that for me, I think that if some of those approaches, some of the industries that you name, we certainly got to do something to help those industries because they're critical to our existence as a country. And so even from a technology standpoint, we need to look at options to really fill those gaps. But I think that right now, it's a non-issue on the resettlement of immigrants issue because that's not the case right now because of the deportations, and so I don't see that.
Can I lay one thing in the back of your mind though? This is a big military state, as you know.
Yes.
I don't think most people will object to the people who have helped us throughout the years in various countries, like in Afghanistan and stuff. If we offered a lifeline to the people who served as translators and guides and, that kind of thing, I'm sure it's only a couple of thousand, probably in a low number, but I'm sure that's a number that's controllable. and that will have almost guaranteed security clearances as far as the quality of people they would be.
I was about to ask, what do you mean by refugees? From where and who are they?
Yeah, I was, because I guess I was
yeah,
confused about you saying bring them over here now and then put them in these areas, and that's something I think I misunderstood you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that we can't limit. I think that when you talk about agriculture and you're talking about other jobs, I do not think you can limit a person's ability to just those particular jobs. I think that wherever the helps and the gap needs to be filled, and there are openings and hiring opportunities, I think that any person that's in this country should be able to qualify for it, regardless of what, because sometimes it's the status that, as we know it, some people fit the status, some people don't. And so I think that we've changed the terminology so many times to where we don't actually know who's who and what's what anymore. And so, but I do think that there are people that come over on a visa from different places, especially in the hospitality industry. And so I think that there are a number of industries, even healthcare, there's significant shortages in healthcare. And to your point about translators and all that, because we, on the military bases that we have within the state of Alabama, the number that we have within the state of Alabama, and not limited just to translator, but they have other skills that they've learned in their country of origin that I think could be helpful to the growth of our country.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's actually what I was getting at. There are people who have skill sets, and since they would probably speak or be able to handle English, they would adapt very quickly. So yeah, if he was a goat farmer, he's a goat farmer that speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we need in this area or in that area of the state, because that area is still considered agricultural, right?
Yeah, you see a lot of the poultry plants. You see a lot of individuals they're working in poultry plants, but I just think that for me, I just wouldn't limit their ability to do certain jobs that we don't want to do. I do think that competition is good in all jobs.
Well, I appreciate the call, Urbanite. Yeah, and it does seem like, as I think there are a lot of people self-deporting, there are, forced deportations as well. The other side of the immigration system of like all the different legal programs, I had somebody just texting about some that bring hospitality workers, like you mentioned. But it seems like those need to be made clear as day. And I think Trump did the gold card thing, like pay $1 million or a company could sponsor you and pay for it. And like, yeah, come on, y'all want to invest and start something, come on. But I think you're right. How much does the state actually get involved compared to the federal government approving these things?
Yeah, we really don't. Yeah. And I think that what you're seeing is you're seeing people come over the hospitality industry because the state has an interest in that, certainly, because of the shortages. And we want people to be able to work, live, and play in our state and tour. And then from a tourism standpoint, and enjoy our beaches, enjoy different areas. And so being that those particular jobs are available, you're finding that people are not seeking those particular jobs as much as they were at once upon a time, unless they're in college or high school.
Let's go to Charles the First. Hey, Charles, how you doing?
Hey, Joy. Hello, Representative Daniel.
Hey, how you doing?
It's nice to get to talk to you. I live in North Alabama, and I call the show, and Dale Jackson show up here. We think a lot of you up here.
Thank you.
And I'm Republican and conservative, and for you to kind of generally get an idea of me, my father was the enforcement director of the alcohol beverage control. Okay. And he died in the line of duty. He was the one that back in the Hunt administration, he was the only one that flew the state plane. Wow. A gentleman ran at the scene, and he took off and hit sawmill power lines. But I wanted to tell you also, though, that I was a very good friend of Nancy Worley. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
and Nancy Worley, I wrote a book in 2004, and Nancy Worley went before the university. Any woman that had graduated from a university in the United States of America, she was the president of the Alabama chapter. And she told them, and I kid you not, that the ways that we should be running our schools should be based upon the ideas in my book. And wow. I used my book, I donated it to the students that had to take remedial reading at A&M University up here at Huntsville. Mm-hmm. And I actually went and read to the classes, helped do all kinds of stuff. And the 60 students that were in with my book had a 20% higher score when they took the test to get into college than the other students.
Well, I need your book right now. I know a number of young people that are trying to get through this ACT and SAT prep.
Well, I got a 5-minute standing ovation from the English department head honcho guy there, and he said that my book, they wanted to use it. My grandmother died, and I went through a lot of stuff to her, but they wanted to use it for all the students that might need it in the future. And if it did what it did in those 2 classes, they were going to said that there was a meeting of the black colleges in Louisiana, I believe is what he said, and they might all use it. What I was going to tell you, though, is I've been a really big proponent for having, beginning at even kindergarten and all the way through school, you could teach things that have to do with AI, quantum computing. It would be like when I was younger, we wanted to do stuff with science and math because we were going to the moon. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
And we're not doing anything like that. And it would take very little for that to happen. Now, you were talking about my book. I have a curriculum for this for the 11th grade. It's on curriculums for a progressive future on Quora.
Okay.
So you can find it there. It's like the second thing. I'd really appreciate you looking at it.
I will do it.
And what I've been doing here lately, though, sir, is you know that the mental hospitals closed, and Governor Riley didn't give a date as to when you could come get the persons. And if the persons didn't have family or church members to help them, they were homeless. And some of them stole or lived in barns. The sheriffs, had to pick them up. Eventually, 3 strikes. And there are many of them still in our prison in solitary confinement for their own protection, sir. And they will never get better. And I rode with the HBO Max did a documentary that will be out next Friday called The Alabama Solution. You need to go see it, sir. It's going to tell about all those things, and you need to be aware because I think it's going to be a big worldwide thing about what is being uncovered in our prisons.
Okay.
But those were the things, and I really appreciate your overtime, taking the taxation away. Brilliant. I really, really appreciate you, putting your hand across the aisle to help everyone too, and to think things out like you do.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I don't know that I've really asked anything, but except maybe give some thought to the things that I've kind of mentioned there. And thank you for letting me do that, sir. Do you have any questions for me at all?
No, you sound like a guy I want to go to coffee with.
Well, yeah, well, that'd be great. I'd really enjoy it, and I think I could enlighten you about a lot of things that you've never thought of, sir.
Oh, well, I look forward to it.
Yes, well, thanks a whole lot, and have a great day.
Appreciate it, Charles.
Thanks, Joy.
Yeah, and we're kind of running out of time here, unless you got time to go into the next hour, but we're kind of running out of time here.
I can answer a few more if you want.
Okay. Well, I got to talk to a sponsor here in a second anyway, but I appreciate you stopping by. We're kind of in the middle of I guess we got a session coming up, but it's in the middle of the summer turning into fall, and what is there to really say? There's controversial stuff I could bring up, but honestly, I think today we'll say goodbye and we'll not even go there for now. Let's not bring the national into the local, because I do appreciate you, sir.
Oh, no problem. I like controversy, but
well, yeah, let's just you can go listen back to the shows I did after Charlie Kirk was killed. Yeah, there were some reactions. I'm like, man, I'm tired of it, but we'll see. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
And folks, we'll be right back, hopefully with Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Hi, I'm Jane Ray, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Radio is an active medium. It can create immediacy, driving shoppers to a specific store, brand, or to take a specific action. Radio ads engage with the audience in a personal and unique way. Contact me, Jane Ray, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
2 blockbuster game shows, 1 jackpot-sized night. Fox Tonight, the floor is back with a Stars and Stripes showdown.
I'm Rob Lowe, and it's a state against state battle.
Then, 84 players for me. Ken Jeong and Aaron Andrews host the new $1 Million game show, where the games look simple.
Players must catch potatoes with a fork.
Until the pressure's on.
Know what it's like to unfreeze a pair of pants?
To win the million, they've got 99 to beat.
Tonight on Fox 20. Is foot pain holding you back? Visit the Good Feet store for a free personalized fitting and test walk.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, y'all.
Oh, we're just flying through the show. What's the score there today at Cohen's?
21-0. Sent Michael Jacks out this morning, installed television and Sonos sound bar, and it's good. It's a tough install because it's all spray foamed. The house is existing. He's gonna have to do something to move the power up. It's gonna be a 77-inch OLED television getting installed with that ARC sound bar. He's gonna have to integrate it into the Control 4 system that we've already installed a couple of years ago. So I know he's got his hands full on that, and then he's going to one customer's house that moved into another customer's house, and they need to get everything up and running, and the gas, that's what was taken with the first customer. So, anyway, he's earning his keep today.
And I've experienced the service firsthand, and folks second